My wife's brother was obsessed with our teenage daughter, and had been stalking her for years. When we found hidden cameras in our home, the family blamed us for ruining his life, by going to the police. I need to write this down because my family is falling apart, and I don't know who to turn to anymore. I'm John, 45, and I've been married to my wife, Patricia, 43, for 21 years. We met when I was a young single father struggling to raise my daughter, Lily, now 19, after her mom passed away in a car accident. Patricia came into our lives like an angel. She was patient with a grieving 2-year-old and loved Lily like her own from day one. We got married when Lily was 4 and have been a happy family ever since. Patricia's younger brother, Darwin, 38, has been a huge part of our lives from the beginning. He was only 17 when Patricia and I got married, still living with their parents, and he really looked up to me as a big brother figure. As Lily grew up, Darwin was the fun uncle who would take her to the park, teach her to ride a bike, and bring her special gifts on holidays. He never married, or had kids of his own, but we never thought much about it, since he seemed content being the cool uncle to Lily, and our neighbors' kids. Everything in our lives fell apart last week. Patricia and I had taken a long weekend to help Lily move into her sophomore year dorm room at college, about 2 hours away. Darwin offered to house sit and watch our dogs like he often did when we traveled. When we got back Sunday night, the house was clean, and the dogs were fine, but Darwin had apparently left in a hurry and forgot his laptop on the guest room desk. Patricia texted him about picking it up, but he didn't respond. She needed to email him about some family event next month, so she opened the laptop thinking she could just send a quick message. What she found made her physically ill. The laptop opened to a folder full of photos of Lily, hundreds of them spanning several years, all meticulously organized by date. Many were saved from Lily's social media, but others were clearly taken without her knowledge. Lily at the mall with friends, Lily at swim practice, Lily walking to class at college. But that wasn't even the worst part. There was a journal document, open with pages and pages of entries about Lily. Darwin wrote about falling in love with her when she turned 16. How perfect and pure she was. How he watched her at family gatherings, and followed her Instagram activity obsessively. The most recent entry was about how excited he was that she was finally 18 and legally an adult, so he could tell her his true feelings. He had drafted multiple love letters to give her. Patricia called me at work hysterical. I rushed home, and we searched the guest room where Darwin stayed. Hidden behind some books, we found a small camera pointed at Lily's bedroom door across the hall. Then we found another one inside the bathroom vent, and a third behind the decorative mirror in the hallway. All positioned to record our daughter in private moments in our own home. I was shaking with rage and disgust. We called the police immediately. They took the laptop and cameras as evidence, and had us make formal statements. The hardest thing we've ever had to do was sit Lily down, and tell her the truth about her beloved Uncle Darwin. She broke down sobbing, saying she'd always felt so safe with him, that he was like a second father to her all these years. Finding out he had been secretly obsessing over, and recording her destroyed her sense of security and trust. The more we look back now, the more red flags we see that we stupidly ignored. How Darwin always volunteered to drive Lily and her friends to school events and swim meets. How he showed up at her high school graduation, with an expensive diamond necklace that Patricia had to quietly return as inappropriate. How he was constantly asking about Lily's dating life, and getting weirdly angry if she mentioned boys she liked. We just chalked it all up to him being an overprotective uncle. Patricia is completely devastated. Darwin is her only sibling, and they've been extremely close her whole life. She keeps blaming herself for not noticing. Something was wrong with her brother. She barely sleeps now, staying up all night going through old photos and videos, trying to spot moments where Darwin was being inappropriate that we missed. Yesterday she found a family barbecue video from last summer, where Darwin clearly positions himself to keep staring at Lily in her swimsuit. Patricia threw up after watching it. Telling the extended family has been awful. Darwin and Patricia's parents are in total denial, insisting there must be some misunderstanding or innocent explanation. They keep calling and showing up at our house begging Patricia to talk to Darwin before pressing charges and ruining his life. They say he probably just has a mental health issue and needs family support, not legal consequences. Patricia won't speak to any of them. She filed a detailed police report, and is working with detectives to build the strongest possible case against her own brother. Lily has barely left her room since finding out. She deleted all her social media accounts, and is terrified to go anywhere alone now. She keeps asking what else Uncle Darwin might have recorded, or who might have seen images of her. She's having panic attacks and nightmares. I'm struggling to process how someone I trusted with my daughter for 15 years could betray us like this. The guilt is overwhelming, even though I know logically, we couldn't have predicted this. The police forensics team is still analyzing Darwin's devices, but told us they already found enough evidence to press serious charges. We got an emergency restraining order barring him from contacting any of us. Patricia's parents keep trying to pressure us to drop the charges, saying, this will tear the family apart, and Darwin just needs counseling and support. But how can we ever trust him again after what he did to Lily? How do we even begin to help our daughter recover from this violation of trust? I'll update when there are developments in the case. Right now we're just trying to keep Lily safe and supported while dealing with this nightmare. My heart breaks seeing my wife and daughter suffering like this. The two people I love most in the world had their sense of safety and family destroyed by someone we all trusted completely. Update 1. I almost can't type this update because my hands are shaking with anger. Everything we discovered in my first post was just the tip of the iceberg. The police forensic team finally finished analyzing Darwin's devices. And what they found showed this wasn't just some recent inappropriate fixation. It was years of calculated stalking and predatory behavior. The oldest photos they found of Lily on his devices were from when she was 13. He had been secretly following her to the mall with her friends, taking pictures of her at school events, even tracking her running routes when she joined cross-country. But the most disturbing part was learning that Darwin deliberately got a job as a janitor at Lily's high school too. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 2. Just to keep watching her, he used his position to access her class schedule and move his cleaning routes to match her daily routine. The school fired him immediately when they found out about the investigation. Now they're doing an internal review of all his activities there. Patricia has been a wreck trying to help the police build their case. Yesterday, she went to clean out Darwin's apartment since he's in jail awaiting trial. She called me sobbing hysterically about an hour after she got there. Behind his bedroom closet, she found a hidden room that made her throw up. The walls were covered floor to ceiling with photos of Lily at different ages, school pictures we had given him as her uncle, family gathering shots, and hundreds of candid photos, taken without her knowledge. He had detailed journals documenting her daily routines, lists of all her friends' names and social media accounts, and notes about places she liked to hang out. But the thing that broke Patricia completely was finding the receipts. Darwin had hired multiple private investigators to follow Lily at college and report back on her activities. He spent thousands on surveillance equipment and spy cameras, using maxed-out credit cards we never knew he had. The investigators told police that Darwin claimed he was Lily's father, worried about her safety at college. He had created a whole fake backstory about being a concerned single dad. When Patricia confronted their parents with all this evidence, they finally stopped defending Darwin, but only to start blaming her instead. They said she should have noticed her brother's mental state declining and gotten him help sooner. Her mom actually said, maybe if Patricia had spent more time with Darwin instead of focusing on her perfect little family, he wouldn't have gotten so obsessed with Lily. Patricia hasn't stopped since they said that. She keeps saying she enabled this by being blind to her brother's issues. The impact on our family has been devastating. Lily had to withdraw from college this semester after learning Darwin had hired people to watch her. She's having panic attacks and can barely leave the house. We're staying with my parents right now because Patricia can't handle being in our house, knowing Darwin invaded our privacy there for so long. She keeps finding more cameras and recording devices. There were even some in the master bathroom that we didn't know about. Some extended family members have started victim blaming too. Patricia's aunt suggested maybe Lily had encouraged Darwin's attention by being too friendly with him or dressing inappropriately at family events. I had to physically restrain Patricia from attacking her when she said that. We've cut contact with anyone who tries to minimize what Darwin did or make excuses for him. The prosecutors say they have an incredibly strong case for multiple felony charges, including stalking, voyeurism, and exploitation of a minor. Since some of the surveillance started when Lily was underage. Darwin's lawyer is trying to argue diminished capacity due to mental illness and get him sent to a psychiatric facility instead of prison. They're claiming he had an untreated obsessive disorder that his family ignored. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for next month. The detective handling our case said they may find more evidence as they continue processing Darwin's storage unit and office computer. Part of me doesn't want to know what else might be discovered, but we need the strongest possible case to make sure he can never hurt Lily or anyone else again. Patricia blames herself for bringing Darwin into our lives, for trusting him with Lily all those years. I keep telling her we were all fooled by his act as the devoted uncle. The guilt and betrayal are eating us alive. Lily asked yesterday if there was something wrong with her that made her uncle become obsessed. My heart shattered, hearing my daughter blame herself for being victimized. I'll update again after the hearing next month. Thank you to everyone who commented support on my last post. This nightmare just keeps getting worse. But at least we know we're not alone in being disgusted by Darwin's actions. Patricia reads all your comments, and they help her feel less crazy for turning her brother in despite family pressure to sweep it under the rug. An update on the preliminary hearing happened yesterday, and I don't even know where to start. What came out in court was worse than anything we imagined. Darwin's psychiatrist testified and revealed a horrifying pattern of behavior that his family had helped cover up for years. Back when Darwin was in college, he became obsessed with his roommate's 16-year-old sister, who visited their dorm. The roommate found journals and photos in Darwin's room, just like what we found, but Darwin's parents paid the family to keep quiet. They sent him to expensive private therapy and told everyone he was just taking a semester off for stress. The therapist who treated him then saw Darwin's arrest in the news and came forward to the police. Patricia completely broke down in court hearing this. She had no idea her parents had covered up a previous victim. When she confronted them after the hearing, they finally admitted everything. They thought Darwin was cured after therapy, and didn't want to ruin his future over one mistake. They begged Patricia not to tell anyone else in the family about the past incidents, saying it would destroy their reputation in their church community. Patricia refused to keep their secrets. She sent all the evidence to our entire extended family, including the court transcripts. The response has been explosive. Half of our aunts and uncles are supporting Darwin's parents, saying they were just trying to protect their troubled son, and did what any parent would do. They keep sending Patricia messages about how she's destroying her family over a misunderstanding. The other half of the family is absolutely horrified and wants nothing to do with any of them anymore. Patricia's cousin Amy finally revealed that Darwin had made her deeply uncomfortable at family events for years. He would corner her alone and ask inappropriate questions about her teenage daughter. She was afraid to say anything because Darwin's parents always defended him so aggressively. Darwin's lawyer tried arguing in court that his obsession with Lily wasn't predatory because he waited until she turned 18 to plan making contact. He claimed Darwin showed restraint and respect for consent. The judge shut that down hard, pointing out that grooming and stalking a minor while waiting for them to be a legally adult is still predatory behavior. Darwin is being held without bail after the judge deemed him a danger to the community. Patricia's parents showed up at our house again today. They were hysterical about their church friends finding out about Darwin from the court records, Patricia shared. They said we were selfish for only thinking about Lily, when this affected their whole family. Patricia finally snapped and screamed at them to get out. She said they enabled Darwin to hurt multiple. You can click on share and more to see if there is a part 3. Young girls are covering up his behavior, and their reputation deserved to be destroyed. We're putting our house on the market. There are too many bad memories here. Every room reminds us of Darwin's betrayal. Patricia keeps finding more hidden cameras and recording devices. Yesterday, she found one in Lily's bathroom from 3 years ago. She had to be sedated after that discovery. Lily is doing intensive trauma counseling and slowly improving, but still struggles with severe anxiety and trust issues. She flinches whenever any man gets too close to her now. She's terrified of being alone, and has nightmares about Darwin watching her. Patricia filed for a permanent restraining order protecting our whole family. The prosecutors are pushing for maximum sentences on all charges. They say Darwin's pattern of escalating behavior in the previous incident makes him a serious threat. His old therapist is under investigation for failing to report the danger Darwin posed to minors. Several women have come forward about his inappropriate behavior at the school, where he worked too. Patricia's parents keep telling everyone that Darwin is the real victim here. That his mental illness made him do these things. And prison will only make him worse, they say. Patricia betrayed her brother by pressing charges instead of getting him help. But the psychiatrist testified that Darwin knew exactly what he was doing, and took calculated steps to hide his behavior. He's not sick, he's a predator who got caught. I'll update one final time after sentencing. The judge set the trial date for next month. Thank you all for the supportive messages. This has been a nightmare. But at least the truth is finally coming out. Update 3. The trial ended last week, and Darwin was sentenced to 15 years in prison with no possibility of early release. The judge cited his previous incident, the extensive premeditation, and his lack of genuine remorse as aggravating factors. Darwin tried reading a statement about how sorry he was, but the judge cut him off when he started blaming his parents and Patricia for not helping him sooner. The sentencing brought out even more family drama. Darwin's parents stood up in court and begged the judge for leniency, saying prison would destroy their son's life. They tried claiming Darwin had undiagnosed autism that made him not understand appropriate boundaries. Patricia finally had enough and testified about how they enabled Darwin's behavior for years by paying off victims and hiding his predatory patterns. We've moved across the country to start fresh. Our new house is in a gated community with excellent security systems. Lily is doing better. She's taking online classes and plans to transfer to a local college next semester. She still struggles with anxiety, but is slowly regaining her confidence. Last week, she even went to the mall with friends for the first time since everything happened. Patricia cut off all contact with her parents after discovering they're still visiting Darwin in prison. They send him money and write letters minimizing what he did. They told prison officials that Lily must have led Darwin on, and Patricia betrayed him out of jealousy. The prison banned them from visiting after Darwin used their letters to try contacting Lily. Darwin's old therapist lost his medical license for failing to report the danger Darwin posed. The medical board investigation revealed he had ignored multiple warning signs and failed to document concerning behaviors because Darwin's parents were paying him extra. Several other women have come forward about inappropriate encounters with Darwin at the school where he worked. The school district is facing lawsuits for not properly screening employees. The private investigators Darwin hired are under criminal investigation too. It turns out they never verified his claims about being Lily's father, despite numerous red flags in his behavior. They just took his money and gave him detailed surveillance reports about a teenage girl. Their business license has been suspended pending a full investigation. Last month, we learned Darwin had another victim from 10 years ago, a teenage girl who lived next door to his first apartment. Her parents had complained to Darwin's parents about him photographing their daughter, but they paid them off too. The woman came forward after seeing news coverage of Darwin's trial. She's pressing charges, but Darwin's parents are already trying to discredit her story. Patricia is in a much better place now without her toxic family's influence. She still has nightmares about not protecting Lily sooner. But she's channeling her energy into advocacy work. She's helping push legislation for stronger stalking laws and better background checks for school employees. Lily is really proud of her mom taking action to protect other kids. I want to thank this community for the support through this nightmare. While we'll never fully recover from the betrayal, we're moving forward together and focusing on Lily's healing. Yesterday, she told us she finally feels safe in our new home. Patricia cried hearing that, happy tears this time. Darwin will be in prison until Lily is in her 30s. The restraining order means he can never contact our family again. Patricia's parents keep sending flying monkeys to guilt trip us about destroying the family. But we've blocked them all. Some things can't be forgiven, and that's okay. We're finding peace in our new life without toxic family members who enabled abuse.